Welcome to The Explainer. Look, today we're not just talking about some new feature or the next hot product. We are dissecting a fundamental rewiring of the entire enterprise software industry. This is a shift so profound, it's actually changing the very definition of what software even is. So, picture this, early 2026. The market gets hit by an earthquake. $2 trillion in value, just gone. Vanished from software stocks in what everyone started calling the SaaSpocalypse. But for those of us who are actually building and investing in this space, it was obvious this wasn't just another market correction. No, this was a signal that the ground itself was moving under our feet. And this is the reason why. For the last 30 years, the entire economic model of software was built on a really simple, elegant piece of logic. More human users meant more revenue. Well, that direct link, the very engine that powered SaaS, is now breaking apart. All right, so let's get right into it. First, we're going to define what this great decoupling actually is. Then we'll get into how it's totally redefining what a software product is. We'll break down the new agent-centric tech stack that's emerging, look at the fates of 3 huge industry players, and then we'll wrap with the new rules for how you survive in this new world. Okay, let's get to the absolute heart of the matter. The whole per-seat license model, it was brilliant. I mean, it scaled perfectly with a company's headcount. But it was built on one single assumption, an assumption that's now completely obsolete, that a human being needed to sit down and operate the software. AI agents, they don't need a seat, they don't need a desk, they just need an API key. This slide just lays it out perfectly, doesn't it? The old logic treated software as a tool for a human to use. You put human effort in, you get a structured result out. But in this new reality, the AI agent is the one doing the work. The human is no longer the bottleneck in the middle. And that means your revenue can't be tied to headcount anymore. It has to be tied to the outcome, to the actual value you deliver. And this forces a question that every single software executive, every investor needs to be asking themselves right now. If you take the human out of the equation, what are you actually selling anymore? The answer changes literally everything. This right here is the critical point. We have all spent decades, careers, optimizing user interfaces. Why? Because that's how humans created value. But an AI agent couldn't care less about your beautifully designed UX. It needs an API and an objective. That's it. So, if your company's moat is your slick interface, you're now competing with technology that makes that interface completely redundant. So, this shift from interface to outcome, it forces a radical change in architecture. We're not just talking about bolting on an AI layer to the same old thing. No, the entire technology stack is being turned upside down. You know, in the world we all grew up building, the human was always at the top of the pyramid. The interface, the user experience, that was the most valuable layer. Everything else, the application logic, the database, all of it was architected to serve that human operator sitting at the keyboard. But in the new stack, the outcome is king. That's the top of the pyramid now. And the interface, which used to be the crown jewel, has been totally demoted. It's not the primary layer of value anymore. It's just a feature, and a lot of the time, it's an optional one. This table shows the strategic realignment perfectly. The interface layer, yeah, it's still there, but it's not where the value is. Instead, look at what's been elevated. You've got agent orchestration, which is basically the air traffic control for your automated workforce, and context and memory. These are the new strategic battlegrounds. This is where durable value and real defensibility are going to be built from now on. So, how does this massive shift actually affect the big guys, the incumbents? Well, let's take a look at 3 of them, because their structural positions in the market set them up for vastly different futures. First up, Salesforce. They are sitting on an absolute mountain of proprietary data. It's a classic system of record, and that's their moat. The problem, their entire business is built on per-seat licenses. So what happens when an AI agent can update the CRM, manage pipelines, and log calls without a human? The whole justification for thousands of those seats just starts to melt away. That's the existential threat the market finally woke up to. Now, SAP, they're in a much stronger position. Their ERP is the central nervous system of a company. You don't just rip that out. Agents have to work with SAP, not replace it. But the threat for them is a bit more subtle. AI could abstract away so much of the complexity that suddenly these nimble AI-native competitors start looking like a real threat, especially in the mid-market. And then you have Atlassian. Structurally, they're the most vulnerable of the 3. See, they're not a system of record. They're a system of coordination. Think about what their products do. Manage human tasks, creating tickets, updating statuses, planning sprints. These are the exact workflows that AI agents are designed to automate away. So that first ever dip in their enterprise seat count, that wasn't a blip. That was the sound of substitution. So, if the old defenses, a great user interface, sticky human workflows, if those walls are crumbling, where do you build the new fortresses? The answer is you have to move down the stack. The new moats are built on totally different ground. Number 1, proprietary structured data. 2, deep, unrippable integration into mission-critical processes. 3, and this one is absolutely crucial, owning the orchestration layer. And finally, number 4, providing the trust and governance layer that big companies require before they let autonomous agents run wild in their systems. This lays out a very clear, if very challenging, playbook. Your API is your product now, not your UI. You have to fight to own that agent orchestration layer. You have to start the painful move to outcome-based pricing right now, before the market forces you to. And you've got to break down those old product silos and build a unified platform that agents can actually work across. And that brings the question right back to every one of us. Take a hard look at your own company, your own portfolio. What is your fundamental role in this new agent-driven system? Are you a system of record, a system of execution, or are you a system of coordination? Because your answer to that question is going to determine your entire strategy going forward. Because in the end, thinking about this as AI versus software is the wrong frame. It's a mistake. We are watching something so much bigger. AI isn't just another application or a new feature. It is becoming the fundamental operating system for how business gets done. And the companies that truly understand that, they're the ones who are going to define the next 30 years.